Mm-hmm. All right, I want to do a video on some TA on Clover Health uh, and some other stuff in between. Um, so let me see here. Okay. All right. So pretty much the area that I was looking to buy at was going to be in this extreme oversold area, right? Now, this zone right here pertains to the psychoanalysis that I have here. It's just I didn't integrate in that chart because there's a lot going on over there, but the zone is still the same. Oh, for reference, it starts from here, right? You got the minor cycle stuff, and like let's just explain the left-handed and right-handed translation. So, well, I guess I already written it down. So this right here is a right-handed translation because the trough from beginning to end ended up higher than where it started from. This one was pretty much equal, so that was stagnant, or you call that maybe accumulation distribution zone. Nevertheless, this was in the accumulation zone that kind of tired out and went down to I was hoping that this zone right here was going to be the next liftoff, kind of like how it was here, but it doesn't have that vibe anymore. Since now that we're in the minor trough of the larger trough, we got a bottom signal, um, like we had one around this area too. So we're gonna eventually come back down soon. Um, you can call this a relief or a the beginning of a new trend. Um, Another thing I do want to point out though is that in the minor trends, right, it went like this, and it was higher from here to here, and the minor trend from here to here went like this, and it was lower from there to there. So if the pattern does change, considering that we were in a oversold zone here, here, and here, if it does change, it should change to the positive side rather than the negative side. The magnitude of it is greater than both. That builds my conviction. Um, Now this one is just a study chart. See, I was working on this indicator and this indicator here, reference of other indicators. I created that one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one. I created pretty much. I created everything that you see here. Um, so yeah, this is just a study chart. It's just like I could throw whatever I want in there to see how it responds to other indicators that I've created in the past. So there's something special about this one. It's kind of weird though. So I was trying to create a indicator that you know shows accumulation zones and distribution zones, right? And this is the one that I created here with this green square. And you can see how I reference this line here into this bearish zone here. Because if we look back, this top zone here, this is all bullish. This bottom zone here is all bearish. So it started off here, so we really picked up and started off. Then, of course, you're going to have your relief uh, rallies in between there, but nevertheless is dominant to that cycle or dominant to this phase. And going back to the green square, we got a red square over here. Now, if the math is wrong, which it should be because it's going down instead of going up, and if accumulation positive, it should go up. then the math on this one is possibly speculating, could be wrong. This is a positive and this was a negative. So, yeah, that's that. Come over here. This is pretty much my ultimate chart. Like everything on here, other than a few indicators, are mine, and it's like the best of the best. It's like the premium, right? So now, I mean, we can count this in, but there it was so much into a downward cycle that even the ups were just, you know, just a slight movement to the downside. Um, but now, since we got some stabilizing movements and stuff like that, um, we can see the picture a little bit clearer. Now, if you look at these cycles, now this one in itself, one of my best ones that I've created, is a cycle analysis indicator for regime, right? So it's basically regimes. So you got the negative regime, you got the positive regime, right? Regardless if it has fluctuations to the upside or downside, right? And you can see that here also on this indicator. You can see that here on this indicator as well. And you can see overbought and oversold zones on this one. So, it's all math. In the end of the day, it's just calculations. It's just math. The math is like the language of the universe. So, and I'm pretty sure AI loves math, right? Hmm. So there are going to be peaks. How there was a peak here, which of the this little red line is the overbought, this little green line is the oversold. It technically never goes to oversold on this white line here, which is the regime line as well. It's this one. It's just, I like to have multiple equations in my theories about how things work. So I created this one and then created this one from that one. And I think it's pretty good. There was kind of like a stagnation zone here where it did reach a low and then it did reach a high, but it was within it in the zone. It never reached, to the bottom half of it, right? Here to here, like it did there. It should never reach the top, which would automatically indicate that this is a bearish um, cycle. And when this one went here and went to the top, that would automatically, you know, bring to the table that it's going to be a bullish cycle. And this one did not make it. That one did not make it. And it kind of hovered because it did not make it here, here, did not make it, did not make it, did not make it. So that was a trader's um, area. This is a trend area, and this whole fucking thing right here is a trend area with somewhat of a trader's area. At least that's the way I read my indicators that I created. Um, Now, if we want to look deeper, we can see this indicator right here has already started um, going upwards in a expansion type of mood, right? Let's go a little bit less deeper. Here is when the cycle came to an end, and that was probably, you could say, here, right? That's a lower one, but yet the indicator's higher. So that in itself is a divergence. It's a bullish divergence. And it's oversold. All the indicators were down. Now you got this rip up, right? These indicators, like 2 week, the 1 week, the 1 day, are all pointing up to like an extreme level, right? So on this one here, this bottom, you didn't have that. You had extremes oversold, regime shift, but it was extremely oversold too here, which was red, which was red here. This one never went red, so it technically, to the math, the formula, this one's using, it's not oversold, but it is here, and it is here. So that's a unique divergence there. Um, let's talk about how the bottom formed here, right? After it went oversold in multiple different time frames, it slowly started moving up, right? Here, there, there. So it was like a grind, really grind up. As of right now, this is not showing that whatsoever. This is showing straight up, just like power move, baby, right? Now, given the fact that these indicators are time based and they have a certain time frame in order to come to an end, there's no telling it could turn down or up or down because this is the 2 week and this is the week, right? But the one day will not do that. The one day will follow track, right? So that'll be an early indication of what's going on. You got it here too, but this is on a different scale. You got it here too, and this one's on a different scale. So you're looking for you know common things, like things that are not just common though. You're looking for things that are in sync to one another. So if you look at the main graph, you got a bottom signal with the blue, with the indicator, with this indicator. There's a buy order here. You take that all in as evidence, right? Say we're trying to become detectives, right? And we're trying to find evidence based, you know, technical analysis. So this is what I have. And there's some green dots here, which is signal buys, like these one signal cells. That's a topping indicator right there, which had one bottoming one right here. I don't think there was a yep, there was a bottoming one here also. So this indicator also showed up here. So it also had it here, but didn't have those arrows. But it had the smaller versions of it. Smaller and the bigger ones are here. So that brings more confidence, right? It's pretty much like a confidence gauge when it comes to the main chart. But the three um, subcharts are just pure TA. It's buy sells, there's ratios, there's a lot of movement going on there. But just like in the past, we need to see the top print. We got to see the top print because we haven't seen the top print throughout this whole movement up. And if there is no prints up here, then this move is probably going to be fake. So there has to be some kind of fucking substance here, um, and that would give an anchor to a regime shift, like it was here. But until then, no one really knows. You could have like a predictor, right? I do have that over here. It's kind of like a predictor, right? But I got another one in the making. Matter of fact, I'll tell you about that. I'm starting to make one myself because this one I don't own. I don't own this one, but I am getting close to creating my own version of it. And there are certain, you see these circles. These are certain areas that I was looking at that was flawed. You know how they need to be recalibrated and stuff. And I got a calibration chart here in order to determine the calibration that's necessary in order to make the indicator work properly. So yeah, I built that, and yeah, this one's an experimental version of what I was doing. So back to what we're talking about here. What we need to see is, oh, not just what I said previously, but we need to see some fair value gaps appear, right? Like down over here. Zoom in a little bit. You see those fair value gaps here, 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 and here, and here. Now, in the past, we did have fair value gaps, but they were negative fair value gaps. You know, they had these red ones like here. I think there was another one here until they got consumed at some point in time, like right here with this divergence, and there was like boom, 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 one here. Now we're starting to build fair value gaps to the upside here and here, right? So $2. That makes sense because there was a lot of money was switching hands at a high rate at around $2 on the dark pool data that I have. But here's a negative sign. You see this candlestick that went down there? That means there was some sellers. So I mean, if they did buy this, then they sold that. So okay, whatever. You got swing traders, or maybe even day traders playing the game. And if we look a little bit closer, I want to show you something. I also have Lyft, right? Is something that I've been working on, and I want to show you what Lyft looks like using my TA and what Clover Health looks like using my TA. Okay, so on Lyft, I don't have to draw it out because I already got it drawn out. You see how this indicator, which is called the institutional buy zone indicator, went up and then went down, right? Price went down and then went up. Hmm. Maybe it's just, a coincidence, right? Over here, and you have to have them in simultaneously. There's a dark blue and a light blue, right? So over here, it went up and then it went down, right? Over here, it went down and then it went up, okay? So over here, you got the same one. It went up and then now it's going down. So my expectations is for it to go up like this line here and then come down eventually. Um, so yeah, I see some movement going up, and I think it's going to make it to at least $20 before it decides to go down. The indicators are saying that there might be a little bit of an up before it comes back down and then goes up again. That's what it's saying. So it's gonna find a hard time here, and it's gonna go sideways a little bit, and then it eventually go up. So if that is correct, I would say by June we should see something happening. Like, well, hold on, yeah, yeah, at least by June. If not, then fuck, this whole system sucks, and I need to redo it. Right? Nevertheless, that's my expectations. And we go back to Clover Health. We have the same circumstances that play out, just like, relevancy is depending on price action, right? So we come here, we do up, down, we do down, up, right? I could have stopped there, but whatever. I went up with it. And the next one is going to be this one, right? And then we have this one, right? See, after it completes the upwards move, then if it's if it's in a regime of bears, then it's going to ultimately have a top, right? Now, I haven't really got to the topping part of it, but it exists here. I just need to work on this chart, but I do have it on another one. So yeah, overall, if we were to scale it, right, and say from here, like when it started, we'll say from here to there when it ended, right? We use that line as a measurement tool. We'll come over here and we'll put it where it started, right there where it ended. It took a little bit longer, but it pretty much had the same area. Come over here and do the same thing. Then it ends pretty much according to this. Well, I mean, we could probably pull it back a little bit right there. Then it would end by the middle of April. It come to an end. So the question is, when it does come to an end, if it is just a rebound, how long do we have until the rebound fades? Right. So let's just do something here. And there, rebound will start from here to there. So it's kind of like, oops, that much time. It's not, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It's just time. So, like that, we do time. So, like June, like somewhere in June would be the time where the rebound should fail according to the math, right? Um, okay, that was fun. Either way it goes, it's just like whatever you're comfortable doing when you buy and sell stocks or any type of asset whatsoever. Um, how you see it now, just like with Clover Health, right? Clover Health is, built by doctors, or you call it that, for doctors, right? Well, this shit is built by me for me, so I understand it the best. But I'm pretty sure anyone could understand it. They took enough time to think about it. Um, so yeah, I see Lyft getting up to or at least around somewhere close to $20 by, I guess you could say June or something. Um, what else do we got? Oops. Yeah, this is cycle analysis. This is the main chart for this version of cycle analysis. Um, other than that, it's really not going much going on there. This one right here is technically for like day trading scenario, but I'm not a day trader. But I wanted to see what it would look like. I have it on a higher time frame, but I could shorten it, make it relevant to the day trading scenario, right? But this is not relevant. Like this is not relevant. That's not relevant because it's just on a higher time frame. But some of these other indicators are. So like a day trader or some shit like that, right? If I was to partake in that, right, then this would be a sell zone, right? That would be a buy zone. That would be a sell zone. Right? It's kind of stagnating here, Clover Health in itself is not a good stock to day trade. It's really not. And I learned that by studying it, you know. And I studied other charts with other assets, and I realized that certain assets have the capability of becoming more of a day trader stock than other assets. So, you know, but nevertheless, it's still fun to look at, right? Like it would consider this zone definitely oversold, and then it was stagnated, and then it oversold. But you can stay oversold for a long period of time. Any asset can stay oversold for a long period of time. It's a trend, it's a trend. Vice versa, overbought. It can stay like that for a long period of time. There's no answers there. You can't have an answer for oversold and overbought, but you can have an answer for which direction it leans to, right? So you can have that. Um, there's a lot of things going on over here, so but none of them are relevant. Let's see if I can clean it up just a little bit. Let's put it on the hourly. Okay, but still didn't clean it up enough. Let's put on a 2 hour. Yeah. No, 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 no. 4 hour. Mm-mm-mm. 8 hour. Nah, 8 hour didn't even do it. God dang it. Well, yeah, so it needs work. Going on to the next one. I think I talked about these zones. So that's that. And over here, this is the one that I made from scratch, pretty much. Um, one of my best versions. I understand it intimately, right? When you create an indicators, you understand them intimately. So, like, I understand what's going on over here. And the way I see it is that we're either going to build fair value gaps up until around almost three, and then come back down a little bit, let this cycle cool off, right? And then hopefully, we don't go low, like below two. But I'm thinking in the realm of at least 250, right? Get up there, stagnate, come back down, let this cycle finish closing below oversold, and then hopefully we're not below two. Try it again. And hopefully by that time, this signal would fade and this signal on this side will grow. And if that works out, then you got something going on. You're cooking now, baby. Cooking. But I would say $1.90 is the line in the sand, not $2. This is me. I think I explained most of the stuff here already. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something like this to happen, right? Like this whole thing, this chunk right here to happen within this zone right here. At least by you know have it going by May, sometime in May. So that's that, and this is the indicator that I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create a multi time frame. Um, I'm trying to create a multi time frame indicator with projections, right? So these are some of the hot spots that I was looking at. I already perfected it, but I haven't leaned forward into it yet because I like to, you know, do it when I have all day to do it. I work for a living. I'm W-2 employee. So, I do this in my spare time. But when I have a full day to do it, and that's when we really start getting into it. This one's more of a CBD indicator, right? And it's judging. It's basically trying to figure out what's cheap and what's expensive using CBD, right? So if the prior sessions said, at this price, at this level, CBD was here, at this, within this frame, within this number, um, there were people buying, and compared to that time to now, right? You could, you could formulate an idea or an equation or a answer, right? To if it was cheap back then and we're not getting too much now, is it expensive or is it cheap, right? Using the CBD. So that's another thing I'm working on. There's a indicator that's tied into it down here too. So other than that, yeah. So this is how I expect it to happen. Now I could be completely wrong, right? And it'll flake out somewhere where the most interest is. Should probably say it could flake out around there. So I mean that's another expectation, but I don't see it really happening at this point in time because I believe that earlier the 2 week was pointing up. I don't know if it's just a flaw because I've been going back and forth between indicators or not. Let's see here, 24 hours. We'll see what it looks like in the morning. But as long as the 2 week indicator continues to push forward, um, my expectations would be like that. And if it doesn't, then it's probably going to be like that. So we'll see what happens. But right now, they're all going up, and it's crazy because is it better? That's the question, right? Is it better for the weekly to go up, like on fire, and then the 2 week to go up, right? Slowly but surely. Is it better for that? Or is it better for all of the indicators to go up simultaneously, hardcore, like how Clover Health was doing, right? Over here. Oh, it kind of lean now. Because earlier it was up. See, maybe the market's just resetting. Maybe it wasn't just Lyft. It was also now it's also Clover Health. But which one is better? That's the question. All of them skyrocketing, or them all slowly but surely going up simultaneously. All right. Well, I'm going to continue monitoring it. So we'll see what happens. I also have other things, like book map over here. There was a wall of what 622,546 shares that wanted to get purchased around $1.92 before it faded away. So yeah, that one is part of it. I'm going to close that shit down. Um, I mean, we can pull out the dark hole data, the options chain. I mean, we can keep continue stacking, stacking, and stacking, on the data until it leans so much to one answer or the other that it's almost, like, oh, it's like so simple to understand. It's like you have to be stupid not to understand what the hell's going on. All right, so let's make a forecast just for shits and giggles. So if it's here, it had some pressure going on there. It's still above its fair value gap. Supposedly, all the signals are pointing up rather than going sideways. I don't know which one's better. We're gonna find out. This one is kind of going south. I don't really like this one that much anymore after having what I created. So I might have to just figure out a way to get the best parts of it out and then just scrap the rest. Um, so let's draw a forecast. Okay, so if it does maintain this zone, right, somewhere in May, it goes up. It tests this level, breaks through these fair value gaps, and then just come down and consider those fair value gaps home. And then it should pop off, right, to the next level. And maybe it won't bleed right through that. We could probably say it would secondary do something like this and then do that. So, but if it does, both of them are eventually going to roll over, find some type of support, which will probably be right there, right? And then really go off after that in order to visit the overall high scenario. Now, being said, there are a lot of call options for, I think, like January 27th. So let's put a marker right there. Still a horizontal line. Uh, and we call it in the center right there. So there's like a lot of call options here for, I believe it's above $7. But that's a long way from here to there. So if you try to calibrate it using that idea, and then saying this level right here, then if anything, it probably would do something like this here, and then work our way up to that. Maybe, maybe not 100%. Never, it's never going to be 100%. But looking at the options chain, I could speculate it could do something like that. And if that's not the case, and that's the low bar, right? Oops. Let's say it's bullish as fuck, right? Earnings are great. Fucking, we got new government contracts coming in, right? Then I would say instead of this from here to here, you could see the same scenario but on a higher level, so something like that. But this is my base. This is my idea of what could happen. This is like over exaggerating it, right? This is what could happen. I'm not 100% sure about the price, but just the model itself, right? Either way it goes, Clover Health has a big and bright future. It's just a matter of time before everyone realizes it. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next one.